I'd like to call the February 27th meeting to order. Mark Ottman to please step forward from St. Boniface for our invocation.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. Let us call upon God, who is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, send the gifts of your Spirit upon the people gathered here tonight. Grant them wisdom that they may know your will, fortitude that they have the courage to live by it, piety to serve the community faithfully, understanding to listen to each other, counsel to speak with love to each other, and knowledge to know that all things are done for the glory of God, who is our Father, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. At this time, could we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could you do roll call, please?
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Trustee Razak.
Present.
Trustee Udress.
Here.
At this time, I'd like to call Trustee Heidi Gonzalez forward for a presentation.
I've been asked tonight to read a commendation for above and beyond for one of our police officers, Sergeant Lazzaroni. And I'm going to read this, and I'll do my very best to get through. November 20th, 2018, at approximately 7 p.m., Monee police were dispatched to Will Center near Monee Elementary School to check on a subject who was on foot in the area. Family members stated that the subject from University Park had a verbal altercation with a friend, causing him to exit his vehicle and flee on foot. Officers checked the area and were unable to locate the subject. His family members were very concerned as weather conditions were deteriorating and believed to be extremely intoxicated and distraught. They wanted to file a missing persons report immediately. Sergeant Lazzaroni had dispatchers attempt a phone ping and telephone calls to the source of the subject's cell phone, and both failed. Sergeant Lazzaroni was obviously concerned as temperatures were forecast for the high 20s and a chance of snow. Considering his present condition, Sergeant Lazzaroni did not want to abandon any effort to locate him. While checking the Gulf Vista subdivision, he decided to check the water retention areas in case he had become disoriented. His hunch paid off as he located the subject about 100 feet north of Arthur Drive and Augusta Boulevard. Mason was lying in the grass. He was wet from falling into the water on golf course and several abrasions on his exposed skin and was barely conscious. Sergeant Lazzaroni alerted Monee fire paramedics and kept the subject conscious until they arrived. He was treated for exposure and reunited with his family. Sergeant Anthony Lazzaroni, you are to be highly commended for a job well done. Your dedication and tenacity not only resulted in locating an endangered subject, you most likely saved his life. Your actions are reflected proudly on the reputation of the Monee Police Department and all of us who chose Protect and Serve. Outstanding job.
If I could have another minute. Mason, come on up here. Evie, come on. Get up here with your dad. Smile. Who sent him up there? wanted to say, as mayor, I can't say enough about the police department. And this is very indicative of who they are and what they are. And I want to tell you, every time I see one of them, I touch them, I say, another weightlifter, another guy in shape. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
At this time, we'll move on to open to the public. Agenda items only. Anybody wish to come up and say something on our agenda? Please come forward. If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. And a second.
Slow moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn? Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pop. Just a couple things. I wanted to mention, well, last meeting I failed to mention that the early voting that will take place at the Village Hall is only for Monee residents. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. Also, we have on the homepage, if you go on the homepage, we had to list all of the early voting poll sites. That's mandated by the county, so we had to make sure we had that on the website. If you go on the homepage, you scroll down to where it says recent news, click on read more, and it'll take you to the front office page, and there you will see the early voting locations and times. Also, for any homeowners that are in need of furnace repair or replacement, South Suburban Managers Mayors Association has provided this information. It's for CETA, and so furnace assistance is designed to restore heating system back to safe and effective operation. The assistance is available to households whose heating systems are not operational or have been red tagged by the utility company. The services are free of charge. Whoever qualifies, qualifying households only, I apologize. Renters are not eligible, but if you'd like to have more additional information, you just text CEDA, CEDA to 77453, or you can call toll free 1-800-571-2332. That's 800-751-2332. End of report.
I'm sorry. Denisha, you said 571. Is it 571 or
800-571-2332.
Thank you.
You're welcome. End of report.
Thank you. I have nothing on the mayor's report, so we'll move to the administrator's report. David?
No report, Mayor.
Oh, my. Very good. I guess. Officials report. Public Works, Trustee Gray.
The one thing I want to discuss tonight is the pond ordinance. I spoke with our attorney last Wednesday after the P&Z meeting. We went to a location, sat and talked, hashed out some things, but then we've pulled up the old ordinance, which came back in 2012. And speaking with the mayor on a phone conversation yesterday afternoon, in the last 24 hours, we've kind of revisited via phone conversation what we're looking at and what is good for the village. Long story short, a liability issue is up there, and the attorney and I will be revisiting that conversation that we had last Wednesday. So just so everybody knows that we are still looking at that, and once I have the conversation with the attorney, I will have a committee meeting to just go over and be sure that we have basically all our ducks in a pond, and and to be sure that we are looking out for the best thing in the village. And just going to put it out there, attorney, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if you want to add anything to that.
Just basically like the trustee Gray indicated, I'll have a couple versions after discussing it with Mr. Gray for the committee's review.
I'll address some concerns that were brought up, and then ultimately come before the board and let them decide how they want to proceed with it. Taking a couple versions from different villages, try to hash everything together and give the board an idea what other villages have done on this issue, and then they could decide accordingly.
And a report.
Thank you, Trustee Gray. Parks and Recs, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, everyone. We had a senior luncheon at the Park Building today that was very well attended. Seniors were treated to a delicious lunch, and they also had live entertainment. So that was very nice, and I think that was one of the largest attendance number of people that attended these lunches. The other thing is that we the park department is doing softball and baseball this summer, and so the last softball and baseball registration will be held on Saturday. And is it here or at the Park Building? Park Building. So if you have a son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter to play, and I know it's very young. What's the minimum age? 4. Okay, so as young as 4 playing t-ball. So please consider that. End of report.
Okay, we'll move, thank you, Trustee Horn. We'll move on to Finance, Trustee Blue.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing to report on today. It's our budget season, and we had our second budget meeting yesterday. The first one was to go through the budget. The second one was to start fine-tuning it. I was really encouraged. We had 4 trustees at the meeting yesterday, as well as the mayor and, of course, administration and department heads. We didn't make a huge amount of inroad into it, but we did get through it once, and we did fine-tune it somewhat. But the third meeting, we're hoping it'll be the final meeting, is next Tuesday. It will be at 6 o'clock here in the Village Hall. Of course, it's an open meeting, it's public, so anyone can attend. And we certainly encourage that because we like your input. End of report.
Thank you, Trustee Blue. We'll move on to Economic Development, Trustee Udris.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic development is extremely busy in the village. Got lots of projects going on at this time. And also work continues on the revamp of the transient merchant ordinance, and hopefully in the next couple of meetings we'll have something to present for that. End of report.
Thank you very much. Move on to Building Services, Trustee Razik.
I have no report. Do you
No
have
report.
anything, Administrator Wallace?
I'm sorry?
I have no report because we don't have a department head, but I was just asking Administrator Wallace.
Yep.
Wallace if he had
Actually,
anything to
there are a few things that are in process and aren't up for report yet, and you will have a lengthy report at the first board meeting in March.
share. Sounds good. Thank you. End of report.
Okay, we'll move on to Public Safety, Trustee Gonzalez.
And I guess I pretty much did my report already, so other than that, no report.
Okay, we'll move on to the attorney's report.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before Larry gets going on that, let me say that I and I think a couple other trustees, at least one other, was at P&Z for a very long-winded meeting. And there are now 5 variances that we're going to go through here. They all have to do with signage for the Thornton Fuel Center. And most of the signs are on the property. We actually, it doesn't matter. They're directing you which way to turn and things like that. I just wanted to make that clear to you when you hear all these variances we put in. So with that said, Larry?
Thank you,
Go right
Mayor.
ahead.
The first item pursuant to direction by the board, there's an ordinance amending ordinance in 1891 relative to compensation due to the village clerk's position. It's Title 1, Chapter 6A, Section 3. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
Could I have a motion on this, please?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? We've all discussed this before, so, but if you have any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
1895.
Thank you, Mayor. The next several ordinances are the ones that you referred to, Mayor, regarding the variance application for Thornton's Incorporated. The first ordinance is a variance for for a sign under Title I. It's up for the board's review and consideration. I believe each ordinance is in the packet for the board's review, and I believe the gentleman from Thornton's is present tonight in case there's any questions.
I know there's a lot there, folks, but like I say, planning and zoning has approved every one of these after much discussion, and thank goodness there was a gentleman there, and he's here tonight, in case there's questions again. I can only affirm that our P and Z approved all this, okay?
Yes, sir.
So are we looking for a motion to approve?
Yes,
this?
we are.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
There's a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
1896.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item, once again, it's an ordinance for a variance with respect to the face area of the sign as set forth in the application. It's up for the board's review and consideration. And I should indicate that at the zoning board, there was a finding that the applicant met all the requirements for the issuing of a variance, which is in the record, so it's up for the board's review and consideration.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
1897.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item, once again, is an ordinance issuing the variance on behalf of Thornton's to be built at Monee, Manhattan, and Ridgeland. Once again, the variance is for signage as to square footage as depicted in the application. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
That doesn't matter. I'm sorry, a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a question. I'm pretty sure this is the one I want to talk about. Square footage, we're talking about the 100-foot. Is that where we're at, Attorney?
Yeah.
That's the one we're at, right? And I know the gentleman's sitting here, if he doesn't mind coming up.
No, the 100-foot, I believe, is the next to last one. This one right now, I believe, is just the
714.
Okay.
total.
That's fine.
Yeah, total.
We're good. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's no other discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
1898.
Thank you, Mayor. The next ordinance, once again, is a variance application submitted by Thornton's. Again, it went before the zoning board. There's a favorable recommendation for this variance. This ordinance dealt with approving the sign package and documents as presented by the applicant. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
I have a motion, please, on this.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
1899.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last but not least is an ordinance on behalf of Thornton's once again with respect to the sign. This is the ordinance that would be a sign up to 100 feet as depicted in the application. It was presented before the zoning board. Zoning board again made a favorable recommendation, I believe 5-0, if I recall correctly. They did provide information as to other signs near that facility, and I believe the zoning board felt comfortable with respect to this variance application. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
Could I have a motion, please, on this?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Now I have
Bill?
discussion.
Go right ahead.
If you don't mind stepping up. My only question really is the new warehouse that's over there. And again, I was at the meeting Wednesday night. You guys talked about moving the sign, which again, it's the same land property, to the east side of Richmond, because it's going 100 feet tall. That building that's there, is that, you guys feel that's gonna be in your way, that new warehouse that's going up?
No.
Because my question, again, I come up it all the time, and I've been looking at it since last week. You get to a certain point,
Mhm.
and you don't notice that area until you get like a, whatever it is, quarter mile.
Sure.
But you guys are gonna also talk with Will County about putting signs on, I-57 saying Thornton's.
The wayfinding signs, the blue signs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
And I'm just, again, I have no problem with the sign, but it just seemed like that building was blocking what you guys are trying to do.
Sure.
Because when you come from the north, you can see everything else, but then you can't see because of that new warehouse.
Sure.
So you guys have already discussed this?
We have. We
I
have.
mean, I don't think the 10 feet is gonna do a whole lot. And again, I'm not against it, I'm just curious. Because as we talked about P and Z, anybody doing 60 to 100, it's like, ooh, there was Thornton's.
Sure.
So you guys have already
Yeah.
looked at this building?
We have. We have.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's all I wanted to know.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I might say it was a variance because it's larger than our largest sign,
Right.
but it's also the tallest sign. So to actually be able to read it, you needed a little more square foot area on the sign itself. And the height covers where you can actually see it. They moved it off-site, so, and got permission to do that and everything, so. Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
1900.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is an ordinance providing for the transfer of municipal property. This is surplus property that the village no longer needs. Therefore, the board deemed appropriate would pass this ordinance allowing the village to dispose of the property pursuant to the village code, but you need this ordinance on the books first. I believe it's 2 vehicles.
Can I have a motion on this,
I'll
please?
second that.
Okay, any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
1901.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last item is an ordinance regarding amending Title VII, Chapter 1, Section 4D of the Village Code relative to fees charged for the usage of park facilities. I believe it was discussed at the last board meeting. The last time we had this in effect was 2013. This ordinance would amend the per hour rate from $30 to $40 per hour for staffing fees. The remaining provisions would remain in full force and effect with respect, I believe, a 2-hour minimum and some advance notice, but all this ordinance changes from $30 to $40 per hour.
Can I have a motion on this, please?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question. I'm sorry, after you, Trustee.
Yeah, so Diana and I met regarding this, this ordinance and determined that less than 3% of the applicants who use our building, that park building, are from out of town. Therefore, the recommendation of Diana and myself is not to establish a 2-tiered fee structure.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razick?
Yes.
1902.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Larry. Now we'll move to old business. Do we have any old business we want to discuss? If not, any new business? do have an item on there. Request by Monee Tobacco.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, what you have before you is, there's been a request for an upgrade to a liquor license from Class C liquor license to Class E. And Class E allows the sale of packaged goods for retail, and it also allows for consumption of beer and wine on the premises only in conjunction with video gaming. Currently, we have one of those licenses out there. That is the limit, unless that limit is changed by this body. That is the request you have before you.
Could I have a motion on this, please?
So we need a motion to amend the variance, or add we have to make an ordinance for Larry to write up?
Yes, sir. You would have to authorize myself to draft an ordinance for the board's consideration to increase the number of license
Yes.
holders on this one classification.
Well, I will gladly make that motion.
Make that motion?
Yes.
Second? Second it? Any discussion?
I don't have any other information on this. I'd like to table it until we have more information on what exactly is going to be sold in there, and in comparison to what we've said would be sold in retail stores like
May I
this.
say, Janet, this is very similar to Hawk Liquors.
Mhm.
They put in a section with video gaming, and they serve beer and wine at a counter. That is the norm in a lot of communities. And we traveled to some communities months ago, myself, David, who else went, David, do you remember?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson at the time, our building commissioner. And we saw various kinds of them, okay? And the one at Hawk Liquors, he had to put in a handicap bathroom and everything. He had to do some alterations, you know, it's not something you just, so it's pretty strict, is all I'm saying. And I think Monee Tobacco's trying to do the same thing. So they'll have to meet the requirements.
Yeah,
I understand
he's
that.
already put in the bathrooms and everything
Yeah,
already.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So we do have a motion and we got a second, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we vote on that first. And
I-
we wanna take-
Under discussion?
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
please.
so my comment is for us as trustees to consider every, if we offer additional licensees of this type, it takes away from businesses, our taverns and restaurants, of which their core business is coming to the premises and drinking and playing the machines and stuff. So that would be, I guess that would be my concern for us, and I think we need to think about that. I'm glad you want to table that, Janet, because I think we need to be very cautious when we add more, expand, especially this class of license.
I'm going to make a comment on trustee Horns. When we go back to Dr. Sheets wanting to move across the street into his new building and opening up the coffee shop, we had Brian from Brian's asking the same question. He's going to take away business from Brian's, and pretty sure that Brian has not lost a dime to a business opening up across the street from him. What we are looking at as a village is a tobacco store looking to expand to bring in more business for them. They have, and you guys, I'm sorry, I'm guessing you guys are the owners because you keep shaking head at me. We have Shoop's, we have a gaming place right next to Tobacco Place. We have another gaming place away from there, which is our limit. And Hawks is not killing the town that they're shutting everybody else down. I'm just saying that Brian's, especially Brian's has been the mainstay in this town forever. He came in and questioned Dr. Sheets opening up his business, and again, I'm pretty sure that Brian has not lost a dime, plus Brian has 5 games in his place that they are doing well. You can look on Illinois Gaming and see what everybody's doing. Just my comment on that.
What is the cost for this upgraded license?
I believe that license is $5,000.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I could suggest, the motion you have on the table before you is simply to authorize the attorney to draw up the ordinance. It is not passing that. And any additional information that any trustee would like to have, I would personally be happy to get that for them between now and the next board meeting. And you would have time to visit anywhere that you wanted to. Again, it's just simply to authorize the attorney to draw that up and bring it back for consideration at the next full board meeting.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I just want to make a quick comment. I don't know if anybody's been in the Monee tobacco lately. One of the main reasons why he's doing this, tobacco sales are down big time. He needs to stay afloat. He needs to take care of his family, his business. We don't want to see another business go. So in order for him to stay afloat, he needs to change with the times and think of doing other things. Like you go in, there's like a little mini convenience store now. He sells candy, and pop, and snacks and stuff like that. And since less people are buying cigarettes now, he's got to do something to keep his business open, keep going. That's all I had to say.
It's a good comment.
Yep.
Do you want to withdraw your motion for tabling and we allow Larry to write something up?
Yes, I'll withdraw that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
If
not,
I
roll
can
call.
clarify,
What?
because it was Rasick and Gray. It had blue did not do anything with that motion.
I'm
Some
sorry,
discussion.
you just confused me. We have a first and a second,
Correct.
and the one, the trustee that wanted to table it
Correct.
has stepped aside.
Correct.
So now we have a motion and a second, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Do we need to take roll?
No other discussion. This
table.
is the table. To have
No
Larry
table.
draft an ordinance.
Trustee Blue,
Yes.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Yes.
Trustee Horn,
No.
Trustee Rasick,
Yes.
Trustee Udris.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on to open to the public and non-agenda items. Anything, any comment you'd like to make? We certainly appreciate input from the public. I mean, that's what this is about. We're here for you. Is there anyone that wishes to make any statements? Except the police chief. He can't talk.
Michael Wilson, 25623 Daffodil Lane. I just wanted to formally introduce myself that I am running a candidate for trustee. Just question would probably be directed more towards the village attorney in reference to the village fishing ordinance. I assume we did a cost analysis or a risk analysis on these, and that's why we're visiting not to allow fishing. Specifically to our village, have we incurred any cost or had any reported incidents at the retention ponds that caused great bodily harm or even death?
Not as far as I know, sir. I'm looking more of a, not only the cost standpoint, but a liability standpoint. But cost-wise, I don't have that information.
Any court precedents in other cities or villages that have incurred any kind of damages?
Since we've gone into this, may I say that there's 3 different incidences I personally know about where people have, no one died, but they were in bad shape when they were taken out of the water. It just happened in Frankfurt. 2 young boys, I think they were 9 and 11, saw a couple of, they don't know if they were ducks, what they were on the ice, and they decided to investigate because there were 2 different kinds. And one of them fell in the water, the younger one, and thank God it wasn't that deep. The other one slid on the ice and tried to pull him out, then he went in. Meanwhile, a woman was screaming on the side, and a gentleman stopped in a car, went out and helped the 2 boys out. The hypothermia was so high at hospital, they said their body temperature had dropped over 10 degrees, and they wouldn't have been able to get out of the water if that gentleman didn't go in to get them. So that's my problem. Our insurance has gone up $26,700. And I think we got to be very careful on our decision of what to do with our retention ponds. We're still debating it.
Sir, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other open to the public? If not, we're going to move into executive session. We could be in there for a while. It has to do with 51LCS 120/2, C1 compensation for specific employees. And number 2 is a review of the executive session minutes. So I'd like a motion to close our open meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Thank you all. You're welcome to stay. But we're going into executive session, so I don't know how long we'll be.